Today I'm sealing up some meals for a backpack or for a canoe trip this weekend up in the Boundary Waters. We're going up to the Ely area somewhere, maybe the Fort Town Lake area. Haven't quite decided on that actually. So what we're gonna need a few dinners at night. The ones I'm gonna go with are chili and beef stroganoff. Those are my two favorites that I've had. There's other good ones I go with, but a lot of times I end up, these are the favorites. I'm like, why don't we just pack more of these? So those are the two we're going to go with. Beef stroganoff, I'm kind of package this one up, but how I dehydrate is I made the recipe that I use, I made that up without the beef in it, so without the hamburger, and dehydrated that stuff. So this is actually kind of the busted up pieces at the bottom of the bag. I've actually already put them in there. It looks a little bit more like that. You can kind of see that. There's my camera. There it is. Now, one thing about it, this has the hamburger that I use for the beef put in it. I dehydrate the burger separately, just because the last time I did this as a full recipe, it just took a little longer to dehydrate than I liked. I was a little uncomfortable with how long everything was sitting out without being dehydrated. So, I took the burger out because it's kind of a thick, soupy recipe by the time you're all done with it, with all the gravy and liquid that you end up putting in a beef broth, that kind of stuff. You're dehydrating noodles. Now, I could do noodles separately, I think. I just haven't tried that yet. I want to make sure that they're already cooked. Because these noodles that are dehydrated after they're, hydrated, are a little bit smaller than the main noodles. So I think I'm saving a little bit of space with that. I don't really know if that's true, but I think I am. So that's what counts, I guess. And I also added the powdered sour cream to this. That's the only other thing in there that I don't have yet. Now, what I've run into, a couple of issues here, is originally what I had purchased and I was going to use was the seal a meal bag, or this isn't the seal a meal bag, but this is a Ziploc sealer that allows you to, it's got like a built-in bottom to it, and allows you to just kind of pour in your water, seal this up with the Ziploc sealer, put it in its cozy, and just walk away and do your other stuff while your meal dehydrates. As opposed to this, which I mean technically I could do the same, it just doesn't have that bottom on it. It does stand, but you run the risk of this edge kind of falling over, all your liquid draining out, that kind of stuff. It could be done in this. This is just a little bit better system for it, because it does have that little stand. It's easier to hold on to. You get the Ziploc, so it's sealed up when you do walk away. If it does dump over, it doesn't drain out. Now I found these I think it was on the Midwest Backpacker Facebook page. There's some do-it-yourself guy. I want to say he was down in Texas. I don't know, whoever you are. I bought these. They're about 60 cents a bag. I like the idea of them, but then I found out they don't really work with my sealer that I have. This Ziploc, this isn't enough leading edge to get into the trough it needs to suck out the air. And then the seal ends up being below the Ziploc, which kind of defeats the purpose of having the Ziploc on it, because I would have to cut that off. So I just went with my seal a meal, the ones I normally use. I have this roll of kind of just make your own bag. So you seal one end, cut the other end, pour your stuff in, and then put that in to seal it, which a couple times now I ran into the issue of, if you don't leave enough of that leading edge, if you make it a little too small, it might seal initially, but it ends up, that seal breaks somewhere, and you end up with just a Ziploc bag full of stuff, which is kind of defeats the purpose of sealing it. Some of that is they just kind of cut down on that space. So I ran into that issue a couple of times actually, and that's one of the things I don't like about these, why I kind of wanted to go away from them. And particularly this one, I actually just ordered a replacement set of like the quart bags, which are already sealed on the bottom. So you just have one end to really worry about as far as the seal breaking. And it doesn't change the product at all. It just takes up a little more space. But Amazon Prime. I got most of the stuff that you're going to see today. I purchased on Amazon Prime for a pretty steep discount. Plus, I didn't have to pay shipping on it. So for the $100, I mean, I paid or $99, you know, whatever. I paid for that in like the first month that I had it, just on crap that I bought that I would have bought somewhere else. But I didn't have to pay for the shipping, and if you buy it on Amazon, it's usually steeply discounted if you go buy it retail. So, I mean, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you should, I would highly recommend getting it. There's some extra little bonuses that go along with it, but just the free shipping itself and the discounts you get on stuff saves you hundreds of dollars a year. So, you know, there's my advertisement for Amazon Prime, right? So I cut this bag a little bit bigger, and we're going to seal it up. Essentially what it's going to look like, it's going to look like this. That turns into that. So I left a longer edge. I'm going to have more lead time on this. So let's just refocus this. We're going to press down up here. So you wait for that, you press that down. That noise is the vacuum sealer working, sucking the air out. The cracking you heard with the noodles kind of breaking down. You wait for this green light to come on, pull it away. That means it's in the process of the final vacuum seal and the actual sealing portion. That's what happens when that red light comes on. Press your open, and the seal happens right here along this strip here. This is the trough you're using. So again, this ends up being about that much. Now it looks like I didn't package them equally. There's a little more in this one than in this one. So we'll have to deal with that out in the field. That's why you use measuring cups, I guess, right? Rather than just eyeballing. But those are my two beef stroganoffs. The other thing I use is going to be chili. Chili's another favorite, and again, it's just dehydrated beans. These are some beans I dehydrated. This one I do all the ingredients separately, and so I do beans, some tomato paste, some hamburger, and put a seasoning mixture in here, and seal them up. The tomato paste comes out, and for this version I did this is a poblano pepper. This is like some green pepper, seasoned green pepper and onion here. Those will actually go in. I haven't done that before, but I figured I'd try it. The tomato paste comes out looking like fruit leather. So if you put it on a round tray with a little hole in the middle, it peels off just like that. As kind of a fruit leather, you bust that up. And what I do is I put this in a food dehydrator, pulse that for a few seconds until it gets all powdery. I find that reconstitutes a lot more evenly, a lot faster. Than just putting them in as busted up pieces like this. You don't get the little clumps. It rehydrates a lot faster. Just one little step saves you a lot of just irritation. Basically, when you're making it, you don't have to bust it up with a spoon. You don't have to stir it around. Make sure everything has time to. All these little chunks have time to fully rehydrate and bust apart. So that's my little tip for that. Like I said, the hamburger ends up looking like this. Before I put the burger in the beef stroganoff, those were a few handfuls I put in there, but this was about 2 pounds of hamburger, somewhere in that range. Like I said, this is like, what, 2, 3, 4, 3.5 handfuls have been taken out of here. So that dehydrates down pretty well. It's really light. Another thing I like to bring, just as an extra, it goes with, not necessarily in the chili, but the stroganoff, a little bit of extra mushroom. This is probably, I don't know if this is 2 pounds. I didn't actually do this one. My girlfriend did, so I didn't see how much she bought. But this, usually I buy about a 2 pound container of mushrooms, and it dehydrates into about that. So those go in a lot of things. If you do pasta stuff, that works really well. The powdered sour cream I use is this stuff, Hoosier Hill Farm on Amazon, 15 bucks maybe, 10 bucks, something like this. This is about 30 bucks on Amazon. I just ordered this package, a new package of Seal Meal bags, individual quart-sized bags. That was $9 and change, maybe about 10. If you buy these were 60 cents per bag. And again, I have to do a little more research on this to see how those actually seal up. But, you know, groceries that you pay versus a Mountain House meal. Mountain House, you're looking at, you know, I think for dinners, it's about $7 to $8 a bag, depending on what you get. And, you know, for chili, I mean, literally, it's beans. If you take the meat out of it, the meat's your main expense in both of these items. So whatever you're paying for hamburger, and, you know, you can make a chili with just beans, tomato paste. And so, like, say, to make a batch, you're looking at 4 cans of beans, a can of chili paste. You know, that's $5. Put some spices in there, a spice mixture that you probably have on hand, some cumin, chili powder, you know, and whatever else your secrets happen to be for your chili mixtures. But, you know, that stuff's on hand usually. You know, so are beans, you know, it's just stuff you have in your pantry. And it's pretty easy to make a good vegetarian. Beans are really good because they have a lot of protein, they have a lot of carbohydrate in them. So you don't need the meat as far as a balanced meal goes. A lot of people just like it. You know, I would be totally fine with meatless chili, but I know my girlfriend would probably freak out a little more than I would. She says she wouldn't, but she would. But this time I'm also, you know, like I said, if you go the vegetarian option, throwing some poblano chili in there really goes a long way. Adding some flavor, and then this is just like the seasoned vegetables here, so that adds a little bit extra seasoning to what I'm going to throw in there already. And then lunches are just going to be probably some cheese and salami and pita, sealed up, a couple slices of each. That's a good lunch, easy to pack, keeps really well. I know some people get freaked out bringing cheese into the backwoods without the refrigeration, but it's going to be really, I think it's going to be pretty cold actually up there, but I was down in Georgia in June, and we had 11 days worth of that, which is too much, by the way, if you're on the Appalachian Trail. Don't bring 11 days worth of food. You can always stop and get supplies along the way. Don't bring 11 days worth of food with you. It's extra weight you don't have to bring. I was still under 30 pounds, but didn't need that much food. I was carrying around a lot of weight that I really didn't need. And some of the stuff we didn't actually get to because there was so much food on the trail that you end up eating, from different hostels you might stay in to just crap people are handing out trying to get rid of their own food. So yeah, bring like 3 days worth of food and then get a resupply somewhere. So anyway, that's my sealing thing and my little my little promotion for get an Amazon Prime account, because it saves you lots of money over the long haul. Groceries for this, you know, can be $20 for a meal for a batch, and that gives you about 4 meals probably out of each one. And that's a decent amount. Those are big servings, definitely bigger than a Mountain House. Like I said, if you avoid the hamburger, that's your main cost, because you're using a few pounds of hamburger per. You know, again, you don't have to use a few pounds of hamburger. We just like to use a few pounds of hamburger for those batches. And, you know, that's your main cost. So otherwise you're buying mushrooms, you're buying beans, you're buying tomato paste, peppers, onions. You know, with the beef stroganoff, it's some gravy packets, some beef broth, which again, I have a bunch of bouillon, I have like a year's supply at least worth of bouillon cubes laying around. So unless you have to go out and buy that stuff specifically each time, then it's a little more expensive. But most of the stuff you have on hand, you just have to go out and buy the base ingredients. So it ends up being less than $5, $10 tops for multiple meals versus $8 to $10 even. I think you can get close to $10 for an individual Mountain House if you're buying them individually. So anyway, that's the vacuum seal and some different variations on that. Let me know if you like it, and have a good one. Get out there.